and welcome back to Rock Tumbling Weekly. I'm Shannon and I love rocks and gemstones, everything about them, and this is a weekly video journal recording all of my rock tumbling projects. And it's really what's keeping me sane right now. Getting to tumble pretty rocks during this time of quarantine. It's really been keeping my mind occupied, and I hope that if you aren't doing your rock tumbling hobby, because I know in some states it's still pretty cold, or if you're thinking about starting rock tumbling but you haven't started it yet, I hope you do have something that can occupy you, that lifts you up, whether it's reading or baking or painting or playing music or something that helps keep you going during this time, because it continues to go on and on. Now, a good update for rock tumbling, for my rock tumbling, is that my QT12 barrel and tumbler came in, and this holds 12 pounds of rocks. I'm so excited. Look how huge this thing is. It's bigger than my head. Bigger than my head. So this is what I'll be using to tumble some larger rocks. And I did take a couple of days to look through my whole selection. I even ordered a little bit more so that I can ponder a few things. And I think the one that I'm going to start with is this piece of Imperial Jasper. Now, I'll show a close-up of this later on in the video as I show you how I pack this big monster of a barrel. But I think that, you know, it's got some roughness that needs to come off of it. And hopefully its time and course will do that. And this will need some patience because the larger rocks, you know, take a little bit longer. And I'm excited to get started and see how this goes. So, what else? Oh, also, I decided to take the Girasol Opal out of the rotation. It was just not making me happy. And, you know, this is a time when the rock tumbling, it needs to bring me happy and not be such a struggle. So I've put that in a container and labeled it, and I put it aside, and at some point when I'm up to doing some repair barrels, I'll probably work on it again. But Girasol Opal is out, which means I'll be starting something new in its barrel today. So, without further ado, let's get started. Let me show you what's in my barrels. Here is the partial batch of Smoky Quartz that I had continued in course. And it's looking much, much better. But there's a couple pieces like this one that I'm going to take out because I'm really afraid that that little knobby is going to break off and ruin the rest of the batch. So I'm taking a few of these ones out. And yeah, these are looking really good. They've smoothed out a lot more since I put them in this batch. Yeah, that's looking nice. That's great. And then here are the ones that I picked out earlier that were already ready to go on a medium, and I'll combine these two back into the bigger barrel and get these running in medium grit. Here is the Lake Superior Agate after another week of course, and it's looking really, really lovely. And I do think it's time that I move this on to medium grit. I am leaving this more naturally textured rather than try to grind away every pit in here, because I think some of the pits just add to its beauty, and you know, that's my personal preference. And in the rock tumbling hobby, that's something that you figure out for yourself. your personal aesthetic, your personal sense of beauty when it comes to the rocks. And these are all looking really gorgeous. I did have to take some out, like I took some out of the Smoky Quartz that looked like, you know, these are mostly little crystal clusters here, and it's pretty clear that some parts of them are breaking off. And while that's okay in coarse, it's not okay in fine and extra fine. So I'm going to look through all of these and see if there's any others that I need to take out so that I don't potentially contaminate a future batch. But, I mean, really, just looking so gorgeous. I'm so happy with this batch. All right, so let me get this in a barrel and into medium grit. All right, we're back with the Lavic Siding Jasper, and it's just finished a couple of weeks in medium grit, and I've got a few potential ones to submit for the contest. You know, well, I don't know. See, that one's got that little bit there, so, which wasn't there before. I think the more I tumble the stones, the more they're just getting beat up rather than smoothed out. However, I think I have at least a couple to send in. And like this one is looking quite nice. I like that. And this one also looks really nice. And yeah. Ooh, maybe this one too. So there's hope. I might be able to find 5 to send in. And we're getting to the home stretch. Oh, look, ceramic media just wedged in there. Well, this one will not be going on further on because it's just going to bring grit and debris with it. But geez, look at that. So I'm going to get these washed up and in a barrel with fine grit. And we're really coming into, you know, the final stages with the Lavic. And, you know, it's been a long, long run so far. But, you know, just a really pretty stone. Really happy to have taken my time and had some patience with this. All right, let me get this all cleaned up and get in it to a barrel with fine grit. Here is the tree agate after a week in fine grit. And, you know, I have to tell you, every week that I look at this tree agate, I love it more and more. And I find some pieces that are just spectacular. And just have this really nice mossy pattern. And this one's really shimmery and sparkly. And I'm just loving the patterns. And the colors. These are just really gorgeous. So excited. And I'll be cleaning these up really good. I'll be doing a wash cycle because there are some natural pits in these, like on this one right here. And I don't want them to carry grit through to the next stage to contaminate it. So I'm going to put these through a wash cycle before they go into extra fine grit. But, oh, such beautiful stones. All right, let me get these washed up and into extra fine. Today I'm going to be starting some Petrified Wood, which is some stone that I have been looking forward to tumbling for a while, but just really never made time for. And I just think it's the perfect time now. And, you know, this is a stone that, you know, you really can't tell what it's going to look like until after you get it into the tumbler in a stage of course, so that you can really see what the patterns and the colors are going to look like. And so, yeah, most of this is pretty light. It's a pretty light color batch of Petrified Wood. And I'm really curious to see what it's going to look like next week after a week in course. So let me get my barrel full and get it in course, and we'll see it again next week. And today I'm getting some Bloodstone into the barrel as well. And it is hard to tell now, but this is a deep green and a red stone. And I have tumbled this before. For those who have been following along for a while, I did tumble Bloodstone, but I did feel like most of that batch was mixed in with something else, like moss agate, and it just wasn't turning out quite right. But this batch looks nice. It's got a good variation of color. Bloodstone does tend to have a little bit of yellow in it. If you could see some of that there, a little mustard yellow. There we go. And so, yeah, I got another 4 pounds of this recently, so I'm going to fill up a barrel and get this going in course. This is the piece of Imperial Jasper that I will be putting in the large QT12 barrel today. And I just wanted to give it a quick weigh and measure. It's 894 grams, and it is like nearly the size of my hand. Let's see, it's nearly 2 pounds right there. And it is a little under 6 inches long and 4 inches wide. So, but I do really like the patterns that I see in it. And I think after many weeks in course, some of this roughness will wear down and we'll see more of the pattern. I think it's just going to look really gorgeous. So I'm really excited to get this in the barrel and see how it starts working. So how does one fill a barrel that's this big, the size of my head? Well, you see peeking out here is the piece of Imperial Jasper. And what I have filling this with is all the extra remnants of Jaspers, of previous Jasper batches from the past. So I've got some Mookite, I've got gold Jasper, leopard skin Jasper, and some other various ones, all tucked in there around it. You know, I'm leaving it some space to really tumble around here. But I'll be checking this every couple of days to just see how it seems to be tumbling, if I need to put more in. But this is a totally new experiment for me, so we'll just see how it goes. Okay, so we're back with our green aventurine and my little helper. Say hi.
Hi. I'm gonna keep it a surprise for me.
All right, let's see what our rocks look like. Okay.
Okay, we just
So what do they look like now? What do they look like right now?
They look gray.
They look gray. That gray is called slurry, and that's what we get when our grit breaks down. So that's the remnants of our grit and our aventurine. So now we're gonna rinse. Watch. How does that look?
Oh my God! Are these really emeralds?
No, they're not emeralds. They're green aventurine. What do you think?
Nice. You should put more water in there, though.
Oh yeah, we'll finish cleaning them off. But
This is so cool. Look at this one. It's so flat.
yeah.
This one is so flat. I bet I could build a shard. Look, I built a heart.
Yeah. Super excited. So what we got to do now is we got to clean them off really good. And it looks like these can be a little bit smoother than they are right now. So we're going to put them back in our little barrel here, our clean barrel, with some more coarse grit. And we're going to keep them running for another week. Yay! Are you excited?
Thank you so much for joining me today for another episode of Rock Tumbling Weekly, and I hope that this was interesting and engaging for you and piques your curiosity, whether it's tumbling a new gemstone or trying larger rocks or bringing your kids into the process. That, I hope that this has given you some ideas. And if you are curious about starting rock tumbling, like you haven't tried it before, then in the description below is a link to my Rock Tumbling 101 online course, so you can learn all of the basics about the supplies, the equipment, and you can watch videos of each stage. And also there's a list of suppliers that are operating right now so that you can get your rocks and your grit and your tumblers and get started. So I wish you a really great week ahead, and I'll see you again next week. Thanks so much.